Hey YouTube, I'm back. I'm back with another great pottery throwdown challenge. I'm a little bit late with this one because I was away over the weekend, so I had to catch up watching the show last night and record this for you today. So apologies, but you know, have to have a life. So this, if you haven't seen my YouTube channel before, I'm Cara from Cara Leaford Ceramics, and I'm here recreating the challenges that the contestants on the Great Pottery Throwdown are given each week. And I am recreating them in my studio and kind of chatting you through how they go for me and the kind of things that I've learnt along the way, and sharing some tips and tricks with you, hopefully to help you with your own pottery. If you fancy doing the challenges with me, then please do. I will just say be careful with this one. We're working with a lot. It's worth watching right to the end, guys, where things really go wrong. Large amount of clay, and it's really easy to kind of strain or hurt yourself if you haven't worked with large amounts of clay before. I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, but first up, please take a moment to just pop this video a like and subscribe to my channel, because it really helps me make more videos like this one for you. So on the show last night, the contestants were asked to make a chimney pot with 30 pounds of clay. That is a lot of clay, let me tell you. I actually struggled to have enough of the same type of clay in my studio today to throw that amount of clay. So I'm not. And also on the show last night, they didn't really give you a lot of technique. I watched it back a couple of times and the camera angles were really quite tight in. And Gabriel Nichols, who's an amazing potter, you have to follow him, go and check him out. He's got his own YouTube channel and Instagram. He's been making chimney pots like this for 40 years. So he really is super experienced with throwing this amount of clay, and I'm not. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break here today. I'm not throwing with 30 pounds. I'm throwing, this is 4 kilos here, which is, I'll add the whatever it is in pounds afterwards, but I'm from Europe, so I use kilos. But I did actually go over to Gabriel Nichols' channel and have a little sneak peek at some of his techniques, and they're amazing. I mean, there's a reason why he is able to throw that amount of large piece of clay all in one go, is because he's got amazing technique to do that. You can't just kind of turn up your wheel and expect to be able to throw 30 pounds of clay. That's just nuts. So this is, so 30 pounds is about 14 kilos, which is just, that's an extortionate amount of clay. That's ridiculous. So this is 4 kilos I have on my wheel right now. And one of the tricks that Gabriel advised over on his YouTube channel was actually to spend some time centering the clay in sections. So don't try and center it all in one go. Do it in sections and it will make it much easier for yourself. Also, pat the clay into the center of the wheel first before you start kind of trying to wrestle with it. And that's what I'm going to do now. So come along for the ride, guys. It should be fun. So I'm just spending time just patting the clay into the center of the wheel. I'm kind of using the rings on the wheel head just to help me kind of align it with my eye. Okay, so that's the first 4 kilos, kind of roughly centered. It's a little bit out there. No. Pat. And then I have another 3 kilos here, which I'm gonna slap on top. I mean, just look at the amount of clay. That is insane amounts of clay. And my wheel head is a really big wheel head as well. So if I had a small Shimpo, like standard wheel head, it would look even bigger. But because my wheel head is like quite big, this probably doesn't actually look like the amount of clay that it is. It's just so much clay. So just gonna keep patting it, try and get it as centered as I can. So this is like 7 kilos of clay, which is half the amount that he used last night. So yeah, I'm using half the amount, basically because I don't want to injure myself and I don't want to just go from straight, not ever trying to throw 14 kilos of clay and then trying to throw 14 kilos of clay. That would be insane. So yeah, go easy on yourself, guys. Don't expect to be able to center and throw with that amount of clay to begin with. I mean, this is probably just going to be a real struggle for me. On a normal working week, I would probably maybe use, like, the maximum amount of clay that I'd probably use would be for a big bowl. Maybe it would be 4 kilos, 3 or 4 kilos. That would be the biggest that I've ever thrown with. So this is the most amount of clay I've ever tackled. Okay, a lot of slapping. I'm gonna just try and center it and see what happens. Okay, so he pulled the clay from both sides in like this. Make sure there's lots of water on it, or enough water on it. You don't want any friction. And he was pushing in from the sides. I'm not worried too much if it goes off center a little bit as I'm coning the clay up, because when I push it back down, it's going to go back down into the center. So that's a heck of a lot of clay to get under control. Okay, so it's kind of centered, and Gabriel used his right hand to push the clay back down. And then had his left arm braced against his hip, which is what I'm doing now. I'm basically using my whole arm to get this clay down, not just the top of my hand. I mean, I hate to say it, but I have got really, really small hands, so probably got a slight advantage on the size of hands. Okay, pushing down. Just go really careful, guys, because you can really injure yourself if you're doing this. And I've got my foundation elbow braced against my body. Ah! Leaning into the clay. Okay, so it's kind of centered. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a one last lean in. And normally I would center with my wheel going full speed, but I'm not doing that today just because I just don't know what would happen with this amount of clay, and I don't want to accidentally like jerk against my wrist or something and yeah, like break myself. So I'm just going a little bit slower, and also I'm working really close to the wheel head, to the edge of the wheel head. So that means the centrifugal forces are much stronger over there. Okay, so it's mostly centered. Now I'm going to open it out. So Gabriel used his thumb to make an initial hole, and then went all the way down to the wheel head because this is a chimney, so it doesn't need a base. Okay, well that wasn't as hard as I anticipated. I anticipated it being really difficult to get all the way down to the base, but I am only using 7 kilos, not 14 kilos. Okay, and now I'm gonna pull out. So I am using both hands. I might speed my wheel up a little bit just because it could be quite easy to go off center if you're not going fast enough, because you need to be moving slower than the wheel head is turning in order to keep that clay in the center of the wheel. And when the wheel is going slow, that's really difficult. Okay, pulling it out, pulling it out. It has gone a little bit off center, but I'm not going to worry too much. Wow. Okay, I've got a bit of a double rim going on, so I'm going to try and just push those back together. Oh, and they had half an hour to do this, by the way, so I'm giving myself half an hour, although I haven't really been timing it. I've just kind of started. I'll try and speed up. Okay, so my chimney is pulled out. I've still got quite a bit of clay kind of stuck to the wheel head, but I'm not going to worry about that. And one of the techniques that I saw Gabriel use was he actually pulled up on the left-hand side of his wheel. So this is what I saw him do on his Instagram channel. Normally, if you're a right-handed potter, you would pull up on the right-hand side of your pot because you want the clay to be kind of moving away from you, so you don't accidentally catch your finger in it. Whereas if you're pulling up on the left, that actually is really clever technique for moving a large amount of clay, because you can actually use this part of your hand to push into the clay, and you can anchor it into your body at the same time. Now, I've never done this before, so goodness knows if it's gonna go completely wrong, but I'm gonna give it a go. So I'm pushing into the clay on the left-hand side, anchoring my elbow into my body, and yeah, wow, what do you know? That actually really does help, because you've got that extra force of your body to pull up that clay. Okay, I'm gonna try again. I've got a lot of water in that base. So this technique Gabriel was describing is used in the northwest of England by potteries that make a lot of kind of storage jars. Yeah, wow, that really, really helps. I am totally going to use that technique in my studio the next time I'm struggling to pull a large piece of clay. Okay, this kind of looks a bit like the top of the chimney at the moment. I'm going to give it a go, trying to get it a little bit further up. It's really hard to kind of gather all the clay from the bottom and make sure that you're not just squishing it into the wheel head. There we go. I'm using my knuckle on the inside, braced against the side of my hand, because my knuckle gives a lot of extra oomph rather than my fingers. So using my knuckle here. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to stand up because I can then get my hands a little bit further inside the chimney. To do my last pull, which is going to kind of make it a bit straighter and pull it out a little bit. I'm kind of using almost all of my entire hand here on the inside pull. Oh, that's so hard. Okay. And I think Gabriel used a wooden rib to like lift up or to straighten out the sides. So I'm just going to go and grab my wooden rib. Whoop. Okay, this is where it could all go wrong. Oh my god! Oh no! My microphone! Okay. So this isn't supposed to be like a comedy video. That was not supposed to happen. So luckily my camera is fine because it like fell on its face. My chimney, however, is completely kaputski. I just chopped it in half with my microphone cable. My microphone still works, I think. Yeah. So it was all going so well. I mean, what have we learned today? Maybe don't throw with a microphone lead trailing across your wheel. Probably not the best idea. Yeah, but I hope you managed to get some pottery tips from today as well. Drop this video a like, subscribe to my channel. Maybe you feel sorry for me. Maybe you just come back for a laugh. But yeah, that was throwing 7 kilos of clay and destroying a chimney pot. I'll be back next week to do something else ridiculous. Bye guys.